Trump was heavily patriotic yesterday in his UN speech. He lashed out at China, he lashed out at Iran, and also, of course, other leaders. That had, of course, affected the prices of oil and gold, but when it all really turned was the moment where Miss Nancy Pelosi announced an impeachment to the president for having seriously violated the Constitution. This was in relation to allegations, pretty much, that Mr. Trump pressured the Ukrainian president to interfere with the 2020 elections. Gold is on the rise. Oil is on a slide. So before we go ahead with the technicals, let's have a look what's happening with on the economic calendar. We had a very bad consumer confidence yesterday, and that was also pressuring the dollar down. Overnight, we had the RBNZ interest rate decision, the main part, which is a good sign, finally. We'll have new home sales today, which are not going to move the markets much, but then the crude EIA stocks change as well. Starting with the gold, I want to start off with the 1 hour chart. I don't think we'll have any reason to go any lower. We have been updating these patterns anyway. We've ended this first wave up here, all right, and then we were looking for this as an A, B, and C, which is a flat pattern, right? Now, if that is the case, okay, we're most likely going to move down to around 1445, which means we're going to have a 3, another 3, and a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, since we are still pretty much completing wave 2 correction, and that also looks like it can be an expanded flat, right? We had 5 waves for wave 1, 2, and 3 to complete wave W of wave 2. And that can go up to 1547 and then start turning. Obviously, the turn could be a little bit lower. It's not necessarily that we need to go really up there. It's anywhere between the 31 and 62 extensions. And then we should be looking at prices to start moving lower with a wave, with another impulse wave to the downside. Now, the RSI and the MACD give us both a hidden divergence signal, okay? And in both cases, of course, this is bearish. So we should start receiving more signs as to whether this is going to turn down for an impulsive move. If that is the case, and because of the structure of this pattern, we're probably going to have a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 down to 44. But I believe that wave 3 is going to be a bit more. We're going to have over here a wave 3 that is probably comprised of another 3 waves to the downsides. Okay, so now what we want to look at, oops, 1 second. We want to have, there we go. We want to have this 1547 as our invalidation point, nevertheless. Now, the other one we're going to check today is the US oil. That is a bit under pressure, of course, following Ms. Pelosi's impeachment proceedings. We're looking at this as being a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. This is still the case. Of course, we did break outside this level. Now, what we want to see is really prices staying within, outside these boundaries, right? In case that happens, we should have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the medium term. That would be the 3 of this outside move, 4 and 5. We could be looking at this moving lower in, okay, and that would create a lower 2, okay, because this is 1 and 2, okay, so we should be looking, we could come down to this level for a lower low, or even anywhere between this bottom line and above, between that level. So it's between 53 and 50.3 or so, okay, and we could still see that move taking place. Now, in case that doesn't happen, and in case we are going to see prices pretty much moving all the way down, right? Well, that would mean that we are here on a W, X, and Y pattern rather than a 1, 2, and 3, okay? Because most likely what is going to happen is that this one, instead of an ABC over here, it is also a W and X, which had its X wave up here, and most likely looking at Y. Okay, now the Y is going to be coming down to at least this level, unless if this turns to be as a zigzag, which means that we're going to break below the 4250. This is actually where we should be looking also to change our view, but in the short term, we can be a little bit bearish, as long as, of course, we remain within these limits, okay? A little bit bearish. We can expect prices to start reversing here. We could move all the way up here. That could either be the X of this WXY, or in case we break above this low, this high, level 1, we should be looking at this really being wave 3, then 4, and 5, okay? With, of course, other confirmations on the indicators validating this sort of move.